back from the break. We're going to get started with the lab here. There's a couple. I just want to talk through the all the pieces that are in that folder here. So the lab that we're actually doing here is called, I don't know, whatever is hiding here under the Zoom app, Multistate, Markov Multistate Modeling Lab. And so this is going to be introducing the weighted MSM package. The MSM package, which is a great tool, very robust, has a lot of functionality, but doesn't do participant weights. And so to do PATH and many of the other kind of national representative surveys, we need to use weights. And so we're going to be doing, there's not kind of time to really fully reproduce all the results in the paper that was the reading, but we're going to kind of do some of those and kind of practice so that you have some of the code at your fingertips and the visualization as well. So the learning objectives here are we're going to specify transitions in order to estimate hazard rates in a multi-state transition model. We're going to do that estimation and we're going to interpret those rates and confidence intervals. We're going to do the same to take those rates and turn them into probabilities, estimating, interpreting, and also forecasting, excuse me. And we're going to do the same with the hazard ratios. So all those things that we looked at in the presentation, we're going to try to look how we came up with them using the code. So the code, two things here. The WMSM version 1.1, that's the actual code that I created to be able to, it's based on the MSM model, but it takes in the participant weights. But what you need to open is WMSM lab. I also have available example data and the replicate matrix. These required packages, they'll automatically be loaded in the code. And if you have more questions about multi-state modeling, I recommend this. Just kind of to note, there's also this WMSM documentation, which I wrote to look like our package documentation. So if you have questions and I'm not available, this should be able to help you understand how to work with the model. So the code here, I'm going to switch my screen sharing. Bigger. So here's some kind of boilerplate up here from our center. But what you'll start with by doing is loading the libraries and take a look at the lab. I have steps here with how to progress through the code. I did stress test this, so hopefully it should still all work and not suddenly break. But I have all of the answers to the labs in black highlight. So at any point you just want to change them to a different color, that will make the answers available to you. But I wanted to at least give you the chance to try it on your own before looking at the answer. So I think this is the point where I'll just let you go. I'll walk around to see if there are questions. And maybe we'll take a couple of minutes towards the end of the hour to talk through the answers.
Unfortunately not, because I don't have, I don't use data and I'm not quite sure how to use it, but the code is pretty straightforward to use. Like if you open it, I can, it's mostly just kind of like hitting next line run, but there's not too much coding that you need to do. It would just be so I'm sorry that I don't have a Stata version. get started, you can just sort of hit run one line at a time or control enter and press. I'm sure your CMates will also.
You already did that was the first
Note that there is already a typo in step 2, so if you get not quite the right answer for step 2, then you're probably right. Okay, so where if you have, can you open the folder just for a second? Okay, it's all good. Let's go back here to session, set working directory, to source file. Now try again. So it was looking in the wrong place.
the first one. And now you run the line with the lines. You don't know that's the thing. This is the
We need don't need to elaborate that because only commands on that. It's good because you describe your step. What was the code?
Where are the errors?
I think that maybe it was not changing the session, so,
Oh,
but it looks like it's running through this.
yeah. There's one typo I found, but I think that's the one you mentioned.
Yeah, that's all. It should be
Okay.
two.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's fine. But it's the same answer anyway.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Your session, since can't load it because we booked the session. Sorry for the reach.
I cannot do any change.
It was just looking in the wrong place. I see that this error message is coming up for a lot of people, and you probably fixed it already. But if it's saying can't find the data or can't find the function, go up to session, set working directory to source file location, just so that the code knows to look in the same folder that you downloaded the thing. And so I noticed that in a couple of places. So hopefully that helps to.
46 points. The second one. Yeah, this is the same as this one. But you can see there's like all three.
There's
Yeah,
nothing
I'm
here.
not sure either.
Looks like the data is not
Yeah.
enough to scroll up.
This is 0. That means all were not used.
78. Try running line 78. Just hit escape. It didn't take the full line. Either don't highlight it or highlight the whole thing.
Okay. Looks like.
So this is
one
that
makes a
session
start,
errors.
And then 0 to the start. It's not working.
Huh.
It'll be in the result.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just, is it not downloaded?
Each time like this, right?
Maybe these two as well.
That's why. Okay. Thank you.
So for the question. Allowing it correct instantaneous transition from tool. So you have to see how the states are defined and see if there's a 1 or 0. Okay. Tool. That's the first. 1 being like a. Okay. Exactly. Yeah. message here. It's just that it's not loading it. Did you download the data set?
Yeah.
Go to files. Looks like you're missing one of the files. Oh, it's okay, just get rid of the bisects. Just delete bisects. It's supposed to be the replicate matrix. It's just I named it wrong in the lab apparently. Session. Right here. To any errors getting set up, please let me know because I don't want you sort of struggling to just load the data. I'll definitely help with that. So definitely flag me if you have any questions. So, yeah, so it's a combination of like what makes sense. So obviously, and two, it's kind of like you can try putting them in and estimate them, and the model will be like, I think it's up here. Let's get rid of it. So it's a little bit of trial and error. So you can do like information experience. That's what I did for this. But yes, there's not like one thing. Yep. So this is independent. This is like what's even allowed that happen. So this is going to be applied to everything. Having some errors. If we just scroll up to see. Scroll up more. I'm not quite sure what this is. Scrolling maybe here. Find this.
Yeah, I feel like I said troubleshoots like this one.
Scroll up, let's check the libraries are all installed. Is it MS? So I think this is an MSM problem, maybe. Scroll up. Let's check this first library. Make sure. Let's go through them one at a time so I can see them again. Oh, the library's fine. Let's just step through this. Not sure what was going on, but
Thank you.
um,
Oh, I was just wondering, is this like?
this is the rate. The X is just because it gives the log hazard. So it's not X
Okay, I think it's enough.
One other typo we found here a little bit further down.
Should I fill this out already?
Yeah.
The attestation. Yeah.
I think I neglected to give you replicate matrix by sex. So I apologize. So it will make it, but it will just take a long time. So you just not be able to get that part of it.
Wait, what was the change?
So I'm trying to I gave you replicate. Sorry, I'm just checking.
The Markov modeling package. I mean, there's some way, but not like as easy as using the package.
So in line 279, I neglected to give you the data set that you need to do that. So you can run the commented out code. It might take a while, but that's what happened. I'm not sure why I didn't upload it, but I checked it, but I did not. So I apologize. But if you get that far, that is what is happening there. I might actually have it on my computer. I might be able to upload it now. Let me check. So replicate matrix bisects is now uploaded into the drive, so you'll just have to download it. Sorry for missing that. Sure. noise up there.
Yeah, I can feel it.
A different one. Switch over to different.
Spanish, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was confusing you with something. Sorry. Would you ask about statement?
Yes.
So I guess like a combination.
Okay. I've never opened ARM, and I like don't want to, so I think I might just sit this one out.
Okay, good. Yeah. It took me some time to start like moving from.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll never use ARM. Just it would be useful time to just do it. So yeah, I'll probably just have to. If I ever need to do this, I'll just have to learn how to do it in Stata. So yeah, but thank you.
No, you are doing. But it's
I just
running.
want to make sure that it went through.
Yeah, you need to use it for things. So for example, did you run the? Yeah. So there on the right side is it says files plots. But run again, maybe that part. And you see it there. All of this.
You may find some easy to learn and these are.
We need to know these five.
Look, this one. This one.
Yeah, so it's always a little weird to like think, okay, how many entries do I have? So 12 times how many groups do I have? So 1 minus that. So there's 4 age groups. Well, one of them's the reference. There's 3 left. Yeah. So it's okay.
So in this case, why is it 24 if age has 2 categories?
It still has the first 12 that's for the reference, and then 12 for the coverage. Then it referent plus how many minus 1. So it is actually should just be the total. Yeah, I was making it more complicated. Yeah, than it needs to be. With this,
So I ran this and I got this. How
so 30 months. So go back to, so how did you get 30? Do it for 30 months. Wow. That's 24 months. How do we change? Let's change the 2. That's 2 years. So
So 3 or 2 points.
2 points up. Yeah.
After this,
It's 2.5.
Having an error here. Let's go back to the code. So it's not hasn't loaded the function. Let me go up. Running line 74. Let's go up to session. Set working directory. Source file location. Try running it again.
the speed logs?
It's now there.
leave the error. She's not seeing the plots. It's not sending any.
It just ran on the board, but so I'm doing it from the beginning. I don't know what went wrong.
Yeah, if it keeps happening, let me know. Yeah, so if we get that. Yes, so scroll down, I included some code later. This function will turn the parameters and the original T matrix, it will turn it into okay, so but if you were to do run Q all, let's look at Q row. This is already like
Just check. Okay, it's suitable and then non-current to new ones.
not current to zero.
Okay, not current to cigarettes and things.
That it's running, yes.
So when this is also.
But I have our open. Okay, so this is
It's the lab, yeah.
the last part.
But you'll need to download these files.
Oh, okay.
This one. So once it's all downloaded, you open it, flag me down.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, thank you.
So I'm looking at, I'm looking at this hazard matrix. Or I guess we were looking at transition, right? Just looking at Q, right? So if QF, this is initiation of cigarettes, it would be this value, right?
Which question? Designer women initiate cigarettes and faster. Okay, so and then it's assessing the hazard ratio. So let's just look at the out to estimates.
Okay.
Do out to $par. So then the first 12
or I
the
see.
hazards. Then here's that 0.26. The first hazard ratio tells you males versus females.
Out to part, these are all ratios?
Those are the logs. So the first 12 are the
Yeah.
logs of the hazard rate for
Okay.
females.
Yeah.
Next 12 are the logs of the hazard ratio for males versus females.
Where we find that.
A little bit here, at least.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Fail error, so I'm just trying to download
One by
everything
one.
one by one. Yeah, sorry, I'll be a few more minutes. Yeah, it's
That's just for the waiver, right?
Can see the
Yeah,
no.
Um, so first are this session. First files. Also, don't want to install. visualization rely on that. So. Most stuff that's being installed, but it all comes together. I think so. Once this is, it should be able to sort of line by line.
Not used aren't that much. So.
Line by line. Yeah. So I'm not really asking you to change much of anything in the code. So a lot of it is just run the code and look at the output and understand. But okay. Everyone has different levels of R and stuff, so it should be pretty straightforward. Let me know if you're finished.
Just looking at this. See if there's any document export. Sounds about.
This one, but this is never users to smoke. So it's the second.
Somebody want to export from what?
Oh yeah, could be. No, not too much code.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that we're all at very different places in the code, but since we have about 10 minutes left, I did want to kind of talk through at least maybe the first half of the lab answers to make sure people understand where I was expecting things to come from, and answer any questions that I can. So let's. So this first question is about specifying our transition matrix. And so we have our Q, and that's just the zeros and ones in the adjacency matrix. And this is where that sort of first typo was. And so we want to know if there's a direct instantaneous transition from dual use to non-current use. And we look at that in our code by looking at our transition matrix, and we say, okay, dual user, that's state 5, non-current, that's state 2. So I need to look at my 5th row, 2nd column, and I see a 0 there. So I'm not allowing direct transitions from both. So this should have been column 2 entry. So that was a typo. So feel free to change it on your end, or hopefully I'll remember to upload a changed version. But we might think that people only stop using one product at a time and they don't stop using both at the same time. And we can kind of test that by including that transition and seeing if the model estimates it to be negligible or not. We could use an information criterion a little outside the scope of today, but happy to talk more. You can check the MSM and WMSM give the same hazard estimates for unweighted. I look at the unweighted estimate for the transition rate. Come down here, our MSM, and I need to take this. So the model gives log hazard rates, so we have to exponentiate them to get linear. So I get 0.025 somewhere here for my unweighted estimate. And if I run the weighted, then I can look at tests here. The second one is never to cigarette at 0.011. The estimates are different because path as it on itself is not representative. It has to be weighted to be representative. And so the people that they selected are oversampled for being at risk of tobacco and ends use. Excuse me. The replicate weights take a long time.
Excuse me. So the
Replicate weights take a long time to run, so I didn't want to force you to do that here, which is why I gave you the code to pull that in. And so if we do that here, pull that replicate matrix, reading it from the code, and we look at the confidence intervals. So this is the code for replicate weights. A little complicated. We're just going to take it from path, if that's the case. And I can look at my confidence intervals. These are still on the log scale, so we would need to convert them to the linear scale. And so if I want to take that second estimate, I'll take the second row, exponentiate it. I get my confidence intervals here, 0.0105 and 0.03. Then we want to convert to cumulative transition probabilities. And that's what we did a little bit farther down here. Helper code. We have our P matrix. And we're interested in what fraction of dual users will become cigarette-only users in 1 year, and what fraction will be ENDS users. So this is dual users, so we're looking at state 5, and we're interested in cigarette users, state 3, and ENDS users, state 4. So if we look at that state 5, that's row 5, 5, 3, oops, and P5, 4. So 45% of the dual users are going to transition to cigarettes and about 10% to ENDS. I got that right here. There we go. I could project the cumulative transition probabilities, again, assuming the transition rates remain constant. And so I might ask what fraction of dual users will be cigarette-only users in 30 months. So 30 months, we have to be a little bit careful. I think this is maybe where I was being sneaky, where you didn't just have to run the code, but you actually need to change something here. So what does 2 represent in terms of time steps? What is P2 going to give us if I were to run it as it is? Anyone hazard a guess?
4 months.
2 years, so 24 months. So if we want to make that 30 months, so 30 over 12, I can get my probability of dual users becoming cigarette users, that's my about 60% here in column row 5, column 3. Great. And we kind of continue here, estimate the transition hazard ratios. That want to jump into the outputs of the univariable models. One thing that maybe was not super clear in the code here was that the first set of estimates is always the log transition hazards, and then everything else is log hazard ratios. So I say that a little bit farther down here, but maybe that wasn't particularly clear in the code since there were some questions.
What's the order of the log hazard ratios?
Great question. It is the same order, so that we specify the factors in the data. So you always have to be a little bit careful about this. So if I want to know who's first in terms of gender here, we can go to levels, data, sex, and it's in the order female, then male. So female is the referent. So the hazard rates are all given for women, and the hazard ratios are for men versus women. And I can do that for any of covariates. So here we've set age, so 55 plus is the referent. The first set, excuse me, I have this tickle in my throat. First set of hazard ratios are for the youngest group, 18 to 24 versus 55, 25 to 34 versus 55 plus, and so on. You can change this if you wanted to. It's however you want to set it, but just be sure that you're interpreting it as you've set your levels.
So the first 12 values then are the log hazard rates for females, and each of those 12 should correspond to the matrix.
Correct.
So I think, I guess the answer here is value number 13, right? So it's the first value of the second set of numbers out to R.
Not quite, because 13th is going to be the never to non-current. It should be the 14th is going to be the never to cigarettes. Did I make a mistake with that?
14 should be 0.508.
It's certainly possible that I made a mistake. So if I look at out to my first 12 here, these are my log hazard rates for women. These are my log hazard ratios for men. So it looks like, yes, maybe I made a mistake here. Look.
Yes.
So it looks like I made a mistake. Oops, keep touching the microphone. That this should be 0.508 and 1.29. Okay, so that's a mistake. 5.1. .29. Thanks for catching that. Anyway, we're a little bit over time here, so I'll stop, but feel free to continue and ask me questions if you can grab me during lunch or after, but I guess we'll stop there.